Yeah, man. Well, bro, let's start things off with, I know who you are in theory, but man, would you mind introducing yourself to people, telling them a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Isaiah Fofana. I go by TIGG, T-I-G-G. All the homies call me TIGG, Zay. Um, I am from Stone Mountain, Georgia. Currently living in Flatbush, Brooklyn, between Brooklyn and Atlanta. Here, artists here live in Atlanta. I work with primarily with the artist named Grip. We have a label together called Straight Society Records. And yeah, like I said, based out of Atlanta, throw shows, put out projects, and try to have a good time.
Hey, man, you're doing it, and just when I looked at the story and listened to your last interview about how you were able to kind of help Grip, man, it's just inspiring seeing people be able to do what you did, man.
Most definitely. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Tig, let me start with this first question, man. What was life like for you growing up in Stone Mountain, growing up in Atlanta, and what were some early musical influences for you?
Yeah, for sure, man. Just growing up, just outside the city of Atlanta, man, it was, I guess it's somewhat suburbia, you know what I mean? But, still, have my friends, have my family, you know what I mean? Very, very loving family. Music from my mom. She's from Detroit. So, she was playing Motown 24/7, growing up, you know what I mean? So that was kind of like my first musical, I guess my first awakening to music, Motown stuff. My dad, he's actually French. So, he brought all types of music from, things he was listening to, whether it was the Bee Gees or whatever it may be, early disco type things to even up to Tupac, you know what I mean? So actually my dad put me on Tupac. He had the album. It's crazy. But yeah, man. Even my older brothers, I have two older brothers and a younger sister. My oldest brother, I would always be taking music from his collection, rock, rap, all types of things. So, my palettes all over the place for music.
I definitely think that your eclectic taste probably helped with, you as a manager and just working in music in general. So, I appreciate you sharing just some of the influences that you had.
Sure.
It made me wonder, I know you've spoken about it, you have a family member who, had a pretty or has a pretty extensive career in rap. My question would be to you, were you able to get any gems from seeing his musical journey? And would you like to share a little bit about what you may remember about finding out about him as a musician?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, like I got the majority of the inspiration just from seeing him. You know what I mean? His name is Charlie Tuna. He's with the group called Jurassic 5, underground, legendary underground hip hop group. And, from hearing the music on commercials or video games or whatever it may be, we didn't like talk, directly and, get game like that. But, because they live out in LA. And like I said, we're here in Atlanta. So it wasn't like we saw each other a bunch. But, just seeing what he's done, you know what I mean? At the level he's doing it at, constantly touring. I know he's been a touring musician for, and currently still is a touring musician for what, probably 30 years now. You know what I mean? At least going on 30 years. So just seeing him do it has been inspiring. So yeah.
Man, I actually got some clicks on when I saw in your interview about Charlie Tuna, and I was like, man, he's still very active and
Yeah,
making music, still touring. So it's a salute because that Golden record is just one of those I remember. We had it on
absolutely.
video games, like it
Mhm.
was that was a classic record.
Everywhere. That record was everywhere. You know what I mean? So even just knowing, yo, your cousin is doing that. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, what? Like this stuff can actually happen. You know what I mean? So it kind of made it real in a sense. So yeah.
Tig, what did your teenage years look like? Because I know as you start to, become an adult, I know you're gonna go to college and things of that nature. We're gonna get to it, but what did your teenager, what did your teenage years look like as a rap fan slash music fan?
Yeah, shit, teenage years, man. That's a good question. Of course, that's around the time like Lupe is coming out. Lupe's heavy, Kanye's heavy. But then you still got, Wayne going absolutely nuts. Gucci going crazy. I was working with a group in Atlanta called Far Out, Far Out Family, fartherout.com. We were throwing shows around the city. I was I was managing them, excuse me, along with a partner, my partner Devin, and we booked shows with them. We do shows in the city. We had other artists come on these shows. You know what I mean? So that's what I was doing. We had a little blog that we kind of ran. I kind of had the little music section of it where I make a playlist weekly and put it out. Um, but yeah, that's what my teenage years was. You know what I mean? Just listening to a lot of music. That's when really the iPod was really going crazy and you know, you could download everything off LimeWire and you know what I mean? It was the time where I would say I was flooding myself with music, all types of stuff. People I've never heard of, just like, oh, I've heard the name before. Let me download every album they got. Oh, I've heard of this song. Hey, that's pretty good. Let me download every album they have. So, yeah, that's what that was for me.
Man, I know the feeling because, like you said, the idea of us just being able to have all this music on a player was just crazy at the time. So we,
Yeah,
we destroyed our computers downloading a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You know what I mean?
Well, we talked about this offline, but I wanted to get your thoughts. When you were making your rounds as a manager, the Atlanta independent scene was like crazy. It was so many acts out. I just wanted to ask you, like, who were some acts that you remember seeing on the come up, and do you have any memories tied into like maybe seeing performances or moments that just kind of stick out now?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Earth Gang, JID, JID, Quentin Miller. Um, Around that time, 2 9 was really heavy in the scene, and just seeing what they did on that level was pretty cool to see. Uh, all kinds of people. But yeah, I remember throwing a Pastor Troy show. It was Pastor Troy, he was a headliner. JID was direct support for him. Had Michael Aristotle on there, who currently is an artist, still a great artist. Does a lot of writing for a lot of different people out there. I don't remember who else. My boy Smooth was on it. But all these guys, seeing these guys come up and around the Atlanta scene, you know what I mean, to one continue to be doing music, to continue to be creative, doing something that they're passionate about is dope as hell to see. And then people who are like ultra successful in it, you know what I mean? Like JID, the surround sound record, or just even his album in general, you know what I mean? Or how he's just a constant touring musician, you know what I mean? That is, crazy to see, you know what I mean? And, putting on a show or putting on a show with them or whatever, it's dope to see that, even dope to kind of feel like I had a the tiniest little part in helping boost them up. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, proud of all these dudes for sure.
Man, I appreciate you sharing that because I was thinking about it today when I started looking you up. I was like, bro, that was such a special time. It was 2 9, it was Jid, it was you. Awful Records was doing their thing. Y'all were out there doing your thing. Like, but I think a lot of the younger generation may not know that you guys were like a part of this indie scene that was shaping the sound of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. And the further I get into kind of music, my music career, and the more people I meet, I realize so many people have been a part of so many things stretching back a while ways. Most of the times I notice that, it's not luck that people are in these positions that they're in. You know what I mean? Like the team they have around them or the artists, they've been doing this shit for years. Even Jid, seeing him go crazy right now, while people might be like, oh man, he's a TikTok star or whatever, or this song blew up off TikTok. Like, nah, absolutely not. You know what I mean? Like, this was grown, you know what I mean, by a very smart team, you know what I mean, by him and a very smart team, you know what I mean? So, um, you know, seeing all the work that's put in is dope.
Agreed, man. Tig, let me ask you this question. So I know, of course, you went to college, you got your degree in mass comm.
Mhm.
Was it after college that you started working as an intern and working in Tree Sound?
Yeah, it was after school. So I graduated college, came back to Atlanta, you know what I mean, just trying to figure out what the next steps look like, you know what I mean? So I know I definitely wanted to still be in the music space. So naturally I just, try to reach out to studios and just be, in the area, you know what I mean, amongst people. Actually, first I started out at a studio called Penthouse Studios. It was off of Auburn Ave. So I started there for, 8 months, something like that, and then was able to fall into a great situation over at Tree Sound, man. Met a lot of dope people. Stayed friends with lifelong friends with a lot of people. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a very, very special time. Got to witness a lot of great music being made. You know, met incredible people. You know what I mean? Incredible, incredible experiences. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What would you say to the younger generation? Because I know my younger brother got the chance to be an intern, and he talked about what he was able to get from it. What did you get from it, and what would you say to like a younger generation that's listening that may look at internships that are unpaid as like a no-no?
Yeah, no, I mean, you have to get around it, man. You know what I mean? You have to be in the industry that you want to be in. You have to find a way to just to be adjacent to it in somehow, some way. You know what I mean? Yeah, of course you can do it nowadays. You can kind of do it, you can kind of do it online, but there's nothing like being around people who are professional in this space and seeing how they, one, how they carry themselves, two, the work that they actually do. You know what I mean? How important music is, how, to everybody, you know what I mean? Not just to everybody, but the people who are creating it. You know what I mean? Like this isn't like I think people can get a misconception of music as like, yo, people are just going in there recording songs, having a great time and I'm in and out, you know what I'm saying? Or it's just a party 24/7, you know what I mean? Like, learning how to one respect music, respect the music, respect the industry, the respective industry that you are going into. And it's being around professionals. You know what I mean? Like I said, being around professionals, that's the most important thing. The money will come for sure, especially if you're doing it right, but you gotta know how to do it right, you know?
I wasn't gonna ask this, but this made me think now. Uh, would you mind sharing a little bit about studio etiquette? Because that's something my younger brother had to school me on, just as somebody not working in the industry. But could you talk a little bit about studio etiquette just very quickly?
Yeah, man. The best advice that I can give you, is shut the hell up. You know what I mean? Like just be quiet, dog. You know what I mean? Like just let the artists do what they're doing. If they ask you, you know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Or if you guys have that relationship where you can, volunteer something or whatever, yeah, once it gets there, absolutely. But when you're in there, just be a fly on the wall. Let them create. Don't come in there trying to insert lyrics or yeah, I think you should add a cowbell here. No, nah, bro. Just chill, bro. Like that. You know what I mean? These guys are doing what they do for a reason. Let them work. You know what I mean? So be there. Just be of help whenever you can, whenever called upon. You know what I mean? If you can make things easier for people, do that. But yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. It's just funny because when you started talking about just having to learn the industry, the first thing I thought was, yo, man, studio etiquette. Young generation just got to know when you in there, they cooking, don't say a thing, just listen. You know what I'm saying?
And then, if
Um,
you're in there, like I said, you will build that rapport. You'll build that, what you think about this, or you know what I mean? That'll come. You know what I mean? And if you're a aspiring, engineer or producer, you know what I mean? Like eventually the times will come where they'll be like, yo, what you working on? Plug up. You know what I mean? Or, if you're an aspiring manager, like, yo, what do you think about, the conversations will come up. What do you think about this rollout or this video or this, that, or this, you know what I mean? And then you can, insert your opinion and things like that. But for the most part, man, let these folks cook. Yeah.
understood. Tig, you've mentioned in interviews that you left Atlanta and
Mhm.
went to New York. Before I ask you about your time in New York, I'm just curious, what made you pick New York as your base instead of California?
Yeah. So the group that I was working with, fartherout.com, we recorded a project in New York, maybe like maybe a year, 18 months before I actually moved there. And we were there for a week and we were crammed in this little apartment. Uh, I want to say this was in like, I want to say it was like West Village, I want to say, but it was in my boy's tiny studio, you know what I mean? And it was like five, six of us in there, created a project in that week. And just being there for that week, the energy, the parties, spontaneous shit that happened nonstop. You know what I mean? Like I was hooked to it. You know what I mean? Just the fast pace, the way that people move, the way that people talk, the beautiful women all over the place. But just also just the opportunity. You know what I mean? We were there. We created an album and we did a competition for Afropunk. It was like competing for the Afropunk Fest. So we were there and seeing those cool ass venues. It was a venue in like some like underground thing. It was crazy, a crazy venue. You know what I mean? And just seeing like, damn, this was the extent that not even the extent, but like music and stuff can go this far. It can be this cool. We can throw events that are way bigger than just an average, club here, or we can do different things. You know what I mean? So I think it definitely expanded my mind to, make me more creative. It's a great place for creativity.
Man, I've heard it, and it's crazy because I've been out of the country and everything, but I haven't been to New York, so it's just this is probably my second indication that I need to make that move just to visit and see what the energy is like.
Yeah, you got to, man. I will say some people hate it. You know what I mean? Like it is a lot of energy for some people, but I absolutely love it, man.
Tig, I looked at your time in New York, and I saw that you worked for the Exposure Foundation, and I didn't realize how prestigious it was. So I guess my question is, because I know they work in education,
Mhm.
and I'm a teacher, shameless plug, but I was
Oh,
gonna say, how did you end up working with them, and what do you value? What do you remember, or what was something you valued the most from your time there?
yeah. I started working from them. One I was connected to a really good friend of mine here in Atlanta. He was connected to, I guess, the COO of the Exposure Foundation. He told her that I was moving up to New York, and if she'd like to meet me or whatever it may be. Um, yeah, we met, we connected, we were, had a great conversation, and she invited me to work as, social media coordinator, right? So I was doing the social media for maybe 6 months, going around to all the different schools, and then, just kind of reporting back on what I'm seeing and, showing them a social media post or whatever. And they asked if I would be interested in being an actual program director for a school. So, I was like, yeah, I'll try it out. It was more money. It was way more money. So I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, let's do it. I was, just in New York. I just needed a really good, steady job. So yeah, it worked out. And I was a program director for a school, teaching kids how to, record, how to engineer, how to edit film, how to, do graphic design. It was cool. I was over a team of teachers and just managing a team of teachers, you know what I mean, of creatives. Actually, they weren't even teachers, they were all creatives. Animation, all types of cool shit. And it was cool. I learned that one, there is a lot of money in education, whether it comes from federal grants or private grants or whatever it may be. And also I'm a huge proponent of education. My mother was a teacher, but being able to give kids something else to do besides just like schoolwork or just reading, you know what I mean? Something that actually feeds their creative minds. You see now so many like arts programs are being shut down or defunded, or kids can't rent instruments anymore, kids don't have band programs or even art classes or whatever it may be. Getting them acclimated and letting them be interested in some shit, what I mean, letting them make some things that they are interested in, excuse me, whether it's art, games, whether music, film, whatever. So it's really cool.
And I appreciate you sharing that. And man, I didn't mean to like a kid, so I didn't mean to sound like I was federal, man. I just did my digs
No,
on you, and I
no,
saw.
these are great questions, man. I really appreciate you asking them, man. These are great questions. Yeah, for sure.
Man, I appreciate it. Before we get into your career and your work with Grip, I do want to ask you, how'd you arrive on your moniker TIGG?
Oh man. So my boy Eric, shout out my boy Eric Miller, man. We used to play spades together in high school. Like I said, Gucci Man was going crazy. So my name's Isaiah. A lot of people call me Zay. And Gucci Man's producer, Zay Tobin, Zay Tiggy, you know what I mean? So we playing spades, we hit these boys Zaytoven, Zay Tiggy, you know what I mean? And that's it. It was off from there, Tiggy, and then just Tig, and just, you know, carried on.
Man, as soon as you said Zaytoven, I was about to say Zay Tig. I said, let him say it first. Stay in character.
Ah, you good, man. So it was cool, man. That's how I started.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Let me
You
ask you a question, man. My bad. I'm about to cut you off. How long have you been interviewing?
oh man, probably about maybe about 2 years.
Okay. I actually got a few of your interviews too, man. You ask some really good questions. You go really in depth. So
Man,
yeah,
I tried, bro. And it's, part of me trying to just work on branding myself. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely, absolutely. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. I'll ask this question. You've kind of mentioned it, but how did you end up meeting Grip, and what did you hear? Like, what was the song or moment that you kind of got from Grip that made you say, you know what, time to go back into being a manager again?
Yeah. I met Grip through my boy Nick, Nick Lucia. They used to work together, and Nick and I were friends. So shit, he was like, yo, this is my boy. Uh, he raps, and we were just cool, you know what I mean? Like I never even heard his music until, later on down the line. Then when I heard it, I'm like, oh shit, this dude can actually, he can really go. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Like I heard one song, then two songs. I'm like, damn, this dude's actually crazy. But yeah, I had his album on my computer and moved to New York. And then one day I'm just laying in the bed and I pull up my laptop, just, like let me just listen to some music. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not doing nothing. And I put on this tape that I put on my laptop, before I left. I'm just like, yo, what? It's him. He's just killing it. I'm talking every song snapping. I'm like, oh yeah, nah, this nigga, like, what's going on? So then I just call him right then and there, like, yo, like, what's going on, bro? What you doing? How can I help? You know what I mean? So it's been on ever since then.
Man, Grip fans know this story, but it's still kind of funny to me that you were just sitting with this golden album on a laptop, just like, let me give it a shot and see what happens, and then you hear this classic album. You
Yo,
know what
he
I'm
was
saying?
started going crazy. Like, yo, I look at my laptop, like, yo, what is this, dog? You know what I mean? I'm double checking, like, this is the same shit. Like, this is crazy. But yeah, nah. One day I hope he re-releases that project. Like, he still has songs that, blow my mind. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right. Even sometimes, like, I might be like out of it, or we not even like, sometimes like the synergy just isn't there. Sometimes, you know what I mean? I'll go back and listen to some of his music, like, all right, yeah, this nigga the truth. Let's get it. You know what I mean? So it's recharged up all over again, So yeah.
Well, bro, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think on behalf of fans, I'm a newer fan, but I'm gonna say, bro, please, Grip, if you're listening, please go ahead and drop those unreleased tracks, bro. We would love to hear them. You know what I'm saying?
They'll come, man. They gonna come for sure.
For sure. Man, you've talked about, we kind of know some of the aspects of how you were able to get him to Shady, but I want to ask you this first.
Yeah.
What were some of the initial challenges that you faced, as his manager?
Um Initial challenges, man, I would say really just I think it's the same challenge for everybody, right? Just getting eyeballs on it, or you know what I mean? Eyeballs on them and people listening to the music, So you got to figure out how that works. When I first started, I remember us setting goals like, yo, let's just get, whether it's 100 streams today or 1,000 by this week, 300, whatever it's gonna be. You know what I mean? And even if we got to will those streams, even if it's like, yo, nigga, stream that shit 10 times right now. I'm about to do the same thing. Like we about to get it. You know what I mean? But I'm texting everybody the links. He's texting everybody. We're DMing people, everybody that we know. You know what I mean? I think we kind of started with our immediate circle first, made them believers like, okay, let me listen, because they'll check it out because you send it to them and they're like, oh shit. They hear what I hear, like, oh shit, dude's crazy. You know what I mean? So those were the initial challenges, you know what I mean? Growing from our immediate friends to growing and looking a little buzz online, making some connections with different blogs and whatever, So those were the immediate ones. Yeah.
Was there ever a moment, or I know it was, but did you ever feel at times like, man, maybe I don't know enough to be able to get him further?
Yeah, nah, nah, I wouldn't say that. It's never that I don't know enough. I would never feel like that. I would just feel like I always feel like I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, because I know one, I know how much I obsess over this shit. You know what I mean? So like, I'm never like, I'm never feeling like that. Um, and I think the only anxiety I do have at times is like maybe it's not moving fast enough. You know what I mean? Like, you know, somebody I will say that, nothing's guaranteed in this shit, right? Nobody can just come to you and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take you from this to this. Guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like that's not gonna happen. You know what I mean? But you know, realistically, if somebody like say fucking, you know, for instance, I don't know, like a Scooter Braun type motherfucker wants to come in and be like, yo, I'm about to, you know what I mean, take y'all up through here right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's a real thing that can happen. You know what I'm saying? So, just gotta stay sharp. But it's never like a fear of that. I would never say it's a fear of that. You know what I mean? But I would just say, um, it keeps me sharp. It keeps me, you know what I mean, on my A game, you know, knowing that, yeah, at the end of the day, it's still his product. You know what I mean? Like, it's still his art. You know what I mean? So, um, you know, I gotta be cognizant of that. Mm.
I needed that last part because I feel like you sometimes like it's gonna happen. It just may not be happening fast enough, or I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna figure it out what it's gonna take to crack the code because I see it, but it's
yeah.
just like, dang, when I guess it's a me moment, but you know, what for you is it a thing of like, were you ever thinking like, what's the fever pitch? Like, what's gonna be the thing that just pushes us over the edge?
You know, I realize that, and that's the thing, that's a big part, right? There is no one thing that pushes you over the edge. You know what I mean? Like it's not that. And that was the thing that like it came to me like, okay. And that's why another reason I'm so comfortable now. It's just like, yo, nigga, like it's got to be a constant thing. You know what I mean? And if I'm constantly doing some shit, I'm constantly one foot in front of the other. You know what I mean? I'm never standing still. I'm damn sure not going backwards. You know what I'm saying? So um it's not one thing's gonna push you over. It's a constant snowball thing. And then, it's gonna be one thing to some people. You know what I'm saying? Like to some people, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, Eminem signed y'all, and that was that. You know what I mean? But people ain't gonna even know the a million steps before the Eminem thing. You know what I mean? Or even the million steps after the Eminem signing. You know what I mean? Like if say he has a big record, like we just mentioned about Jid. You know what I mean? People can say, yo, he's a TikTok, whatever. Like, yo, TikTok didn't, it did a huge thing. No, don't get me wrong, but like he put in so much work for that foundation to even get that look. You know what I mean? So it's not one thing doesn't happen without the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I need that because I'm over here like, yo, is it gonna be one thing you just out of there? Like, no, you
Yeah.
just got to keep working, fam.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, keep working. And then after that one thing, what you gonna do? Right. So um jumping to the podcast, back into to the podcast thing, right? It's like, yo, you can have the greatest interview in the world, right? You can have Jay-Z on tomorrow. You can have Oprah on the next week, right? Who you gonna have after that? You know what I'm saying? So like, yo, yeah, you could have the craziest, 3-week run, month-long run, or whatever. But people are so, what have you done for me lately? Like, yo, what are you gonna do after that? How you gonna top yourself? You know what I mean? It's almost impossible. Kanye West, how you gonna top graduation? How you gonna top 808s? How you gonna top Jesus? How you gonna top? You know what I mean? Like it's like, all right, you just be racing with yourself. How you gonna, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a
no, I respect that.
continuous thing. It's a continuous thing. Just make sure you're doing it right. You know what I'm saying?
Respect, respect. No, I appreciate that, man. That was for me. That wasn't for the viewers either. I appreciate that.
Nah, for sure, for sure.
Um, my next question. I know I've heard both of you all rep it, but Straight Society, you may
Yeah.
be able to give me a little insight on it. But what is the significance of the name, and how did you all, I guess, come up on that name and settle on it?
Yeah, man. Just, walking your own path, you know what I mean? Carving your own lane, not conforming to what everybody else around you is doing, you know? We felt like Um, Even now, man, but especially before, like the type of music we were releasing, even the type of people that we weren't the normal, you know, stereotype, yo, let's go, we're going to the club, or yo, we're listening to this type of music, or we're dressed like this, or you know what I mean? Like I would say everything that we, not everything, but a lot of things that we do are super counterculture. You know what I mean? Even like the affinity for beers or the damn type of music that we listen to, or shows that we're going to go see, or whatever. It's kind of strays away from the norm. So Grip came up with the name Straight Society. It operates as like an umbrella for all type of different things that we do, whether it's the record label, whether it's the shows that we're throwing, shows that we're curating, other artists that we're, providing management services for, whether it's merch, whether it's touring, whatever it may be. So Stress Society is just that umbrella that everything falls under.
You answered the question a little bit earlier about it not being a one single moment, but because I was gonna ask, was Snub Nose the project that changed everything? So I guess I'll rephrase that now by saying, when Snub Nose came out, what felt different than when Porch came out?
Um, hmm. So again, right? It's just everything just kind of graduates. Porch came out, and that was a moment for us too. You know what I mean? It was the biggest he had been after Porch came out. You know what I mean? So, Porch came out, we got some really good looks. That was the first time, we were on Pigeons and Planes, and that was the first time, the world kind of was put on notice. You know what I mean? Got some really, really super strong articles. You know what I mean? Snub Nose was, I'd say, the first time we dropped to an actual audience. You know what I mean? It was the first time we had like um a super, super legit listening session. You know what I mean? Where it's the first time where we came in with assets loaded. We came in with, playlists already about to fuck with us. We came in with like, locked and loaded, ready to shoot, you know. But then again, you know what I mean? Like the energy going into the release, I died for this. You know what I mean? Was crazy. You know what I mean? We had a album release party that was electric in there. You know what I mean? We had 400 people in there, and the shit was buzzing in there. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's just, everything just builds on top. So it's like a graduation every single time. You know what I mean? Every release feels different. Um, and every release is as important as the last one. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you mentioned I died for this because it's a moment where I consider myself a rap fan, but I was ashamed that, a homie of mine was like, man, there's this artist from East Atlanta, bro. You gotta listen to him. His name is Grip. And this is when the project came out. And I'm
Yeah.
from East Atlanta. And I'm like, how did I not know this dude? I'm like, people gonna clown me, dog. Like,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't know.
Nah, man. Yeah, that's a part of the awareness. You know what I mean? Like, and that's something that, we even straight society, like it kind of touches on, like, from where we're from, the type of music that's typically played and the artists that are associated with it. So many people don't know Grips from East Atlanta. Some people don't know Kenny Mason, you know what I mean? Or JID even, you know what I mean? Like, so it's something that we gotta figure out how to crack that code to get that more regional notoriety. But nah, man, you're not alone, bro. You're not alone in that, not knowing who he is, dog. So don't feel no type of way, dog. I'm glad you're here now. So.
And my younger brother, he was outside because at that time when grip is popping, I'm like, man, I've been out of college. I'm working a 9 to 5. I'm in Middle Georgia, so I didn't know. But
Yeah.
he's going out, so he's like, yeah, there's this cat named Jid, Spillage Village, da da
Yeah.
da. And he's telling me all this. I'm like, right, this is foreign to me. You know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
So seeing them come up now, I'm just like, okay, you were up on some stuff. Like when Cole was blowing up, I was outside.
Yeah.
When I went inside, y'all was on the
That
come
was
up,
doing
and I'm like, okay, I
Yeah,
see it.
man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You said you were in Middle Georgia?
Yeah, man.
What part?
So, man, when I first started teaching, I was working in Macon because I went to Fort Valley. You went
Okay.
to Valdosta, so
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah, yeah.
so I went to Fort Valley, graduated there, was teaching in Macon, went back down there not long ago, working in like South Georgia, like Dooley. I was working down there as a teacher,
Okay.
and so, bro, I've been down that way, like. Warner Robins, Perry area, Macon
Yeah, yeah,
area,
yeah, yeah.
road trip down there to y'all back in the day. Like I, you know the
Yeah,
route, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
absolutely, absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
but no, my next question for you is this, what are some responsibilities that you as a manager handle that people don't associate typically with a manager, like things you do that don't fit the umbrella of what a manager typically does?
Yeah. Uh, That's a good question, man. But also because we have such a small team. You know what I mean? Typically, it's me and Grip. We recently just added a few more people to the team, but you know, we handle everything. You know what I mean? Whether it's shipping the merch to printing some t-shirts or to studio sessions to um, connecting with different artists to DJing. You know what I mean? I DJ when I'm on the road. Uh I mean all kinds of everything. I feel like, I tell people this sometimes like, yo, almost everything except for rap the verse. You know what I mean? Write and rap the verse. You know what I mean? Like everything else, like, you know what I mean? Damn near have a hand in. You know what I mean? And sometimes a might little baby, maybe just do this on the hook and it might make it. You know what I'm saying? That shit might make it from time to time. You know what I mean? But other than writing and rapping, bro, like damn near everything, bro. You know what I mean? Actually, damn mixing and mastering and all that, of course, but everything, music video, how we gonna know, uh what do you call it? Video treatments, excuse me, video treatments, fucking tour flyers, um, uh, set lists, set design, the list goes on and on and on and on. You know what I mean? Yeah, I could go on for days.
Man, salute to y'all basically being a factory of your own, man, and doing it on your own. So salute to that.
For sure. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. But also at the same time, man, learning how to relinquish control to other people. You know what I mean? That's a big part. That's a big, big, big part. You know what I mean? Like we could get so much more done if we took some of the little things off our hands, if we just, trusted other people who are down to work, who are, have asked us like, yo, can we do this? You know what I mean? But we got down, I don't know. I don't know what we call them, man. Trust issues. I don't know. But learning to delegate and learning how to be cool with people doing things their way. You know what I mean? As long as they get done, especially in this space. So yeah, man. We're working on
That's
it.
a
We're expanding, man. We're expanding.
Hey, that's a gem, man. That's a gem. Let me ask this question. You know, you mentioned at one point that Brent Fires manager Ty, at times he's been able to kind of offer assistance. You
Yeah.
know, what are I'm not even gonna say what are some things he's helped you with, but I'll just say how has your friendship with him helped you kind of maneuver through this music industry?
Yeah, man. Ty, man, brilliant, 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 brilliant dude. I can't say it enough. You know what I mean? And the way he's able to articulate, um, articulate the industry, um, articulate the industry, his plans, what's worked, what doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's second to none. You know what I mean? So him just being able to tell me things in such a matter of fact way, as opposed to, you'll be speaking with people in, the quote unquote industry who just aren't direct, you know what I mean? Or just telling you things they vaguely tell you things. Be like, oh, I didn't say that. I said this, or I didn't quite say this. I said, you know what I mean? So him being able to communicate things and he's gone so far in his career. So just being able to tell us what's around the corner on so many different things, you know what I mean? Things to look out for. Like, yo, nigga, don't open that door, you know what I mean? Or don't do it, you know what I mean? So that's invaluable. So yeah, I would say that's our friendship in that, you know what I mean? So that's my boy for sure.
Hey, well, shout out to Ty, and
Absolutely.
I know you didn't give him his props, but just shout out to him for just helping other creatives on the come up. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. He released a book, and that shit is damn near a Bible. You know what I mean? So for any artist manager, any person who wants to learn anything about learn about the music industry, the current landscape of the music industry, you know what I mean? Get that Culture Volume 1 playbook by Ty Bazin. Um, so many gems, so much information. It's literally a playbook, tells you how to get it going, how to get it popping. You know what I mean? So yeah, check that out.
Thank you for mentioning it again because when you did your last interview, you mentioned it on DJ Booth. I was like, man, is it anywhere else I could find the joint? So I'm gonna just type his name in and look that name up and see if I can find
Yep,
it.
yep, yep. It's on Amazon and Kindle and all that stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, get a
Say
hard copy.
less.
But yeah, he's him and he and what's my boy name? Yo, he's the
Oh man, yo, yeah, he's shout out to yo, man. Yo,
yo.
if you hear this, yo, bro, DJ Booth was extremely influential, and homie, I want to interview you next. You know what I'm saying? If he's
Word,
a
word,
shameless
word.
plug,
For sure, for sure, for sure. I'll connect y'all for sure, man. But yo super cool, super smart brother too. You know what I mean?
and fan moment. I'll just say seeing his career definitely inspired me in my own little journey. So shout
Absolutely.
out to yo. Um,
Absolutely, man. And that's a part of the ecosystem, man. Like we were talking about, when we hopped on, dog, you guys are writers, you know what I mean? Culture critics, culture purveyors, man. Like y'all are people who are damn keeping this alive, spreading information to people who aren't near the scene but want to be in the scene. You know what I mean? Somebody who's in Middle Georgia, the kid who's in Middle Georgia who can't get to Atlanta, the kid who's in Nebraska, South Dakota, whatever, who can't get to the city. You know what I'm saying? But y'all are people who are keeping them up to date on what's going on, keeping them, in the right frame of thinking of how shit's moving, how shit is currently moving. So, big shout out to y'all, man, especially the ones who do it for the right reasons and do it well. So yeah, shout out to
hey,
y'all, folks.
appreciate it, bro. I definitely take that.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. Yeah.
Man, you when I met you, we were at the AMP event and you were giving the gems out then, but people didn't get to hear it on this. So, you know, one of the people asked the questions about how could they expand their brand because the young lady was a songwriter and she was trying to network and you were giving out some tips. Would you mind sharing them again?
Yeah, of course. I believe I was telling her just to get out and meet people. You know what I mean? Like go to shows, go to events like the one we were at, the AMP event. You know what I mean? That was in Stankonia Studios, right? Like how often you get a chance to go to that legendary ass studio, right? So that's a moment in itself you should definitely take if you're an artist, you're a manager, you're an engineer, you're a whoever. But the like-minded people who are who are interested in the exact same thing that you're interested in are gonna be there as well. So go there, connect with people. You're a songwriter, go to find some shows, find some open mics. You know what I mean? Find some people who have some good voices. Let them know, talk to them at the end of the show. Let them know, yo, I'm a songwriter. I do this, I do that. Yo, I'm a videographer. Can I shoot your set? I always feel like come willing to help in some way, somehow. You know what I mean? Don't come, I wouldn't recommend coming to people like, yo, give me $500 and I can write your song for you, or give me $60 I'll shoot your set for you right now. It's like, yo, man, like if you're trying to get into it, you're trying to build a network, you know what I mean? Like, hop out there and meet people, So yeah, I think that's what I was telling her. But yeah,
That was exactly what you told me. I just wanted other people to hear it too. You were talking about
yeah,
events that were going on in the city and just saying
yeah.
show up and look for people doing what you're doing and then build community. You know what I'm saying?
Show up, man. That's the biggest part, bro. Show up, man. I went to an event literally the other day on Edgewood. I don't remember what it's called, but the venue was called the Handlebar. But pretty much every Monday they are doing things where they're playing beats from, different producers from around the city, but they highlight one producer, of course. But yeah, people in there just playing beats. Yeah, I'm in there. It's probably not eight producers, eight people in there total, right? Eight people, nine including the bartender, right? 10 including the cook in the back, right? So 10 people in there total. Bro, so I'm in there chilling, man. It's two very big DJs in Atlanta who are in there. One spinning it, you know what I mean? The other one's there chilling. Another person that walked in there was one of the biggest producers in Atlanta. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna say their names and shit like that, but like, yo, these are people who got platinum records. You know what I mean? We got Grammy nods or Grammy wins. You know what I mean? Like these people who are at these very, very public events. You know what I mean? Listening for new talent, listening for new ways to work. You know what I mean? Or whether they're just supporting a friend or whatever is there, they're there. You know what I mean? Like being there and to go talk to those people. You know what I mean? Like that's how the shit happens. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen by staying at home or tweeting somebody or spamming somebody's DM or email. Like, yo, that's not how it works, bro. You got to get out and you got to meet people. You know what I mean? And you'd be surprised, man. People are down to help. You know, you catch somebody in person, people are down to fuck with you. You know what I mean? If you're down to do something too, if you're offering a cool listen, if you were there, dude, like I can tell you how many interviews you probably be like, yo, I want you could have got. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you could have did your thing. You know what I mean? But it's so many opportunities out there, but people just got to go out there and show up. You know what I mean? Yeah, be amongst the crowd, amongst the people you wanna quote unquote you know, quote unquote aspire to be. You know what I mean? You want to be a professional in this space, you gotta go to these industry type events. You know what I mean? Find the good ones, find the indie ones, find the bigger ones. You know what I mean? Like find them. They're out there. So just gotta find them.
Man, I would agree because shoot, that's how I bumped into you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I literally just said, "Dog, I love the interview." You said, "No worries." So I
Yeah,
would agree.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, perfect example. Yeah. You know, so you were outside and just like that, you know. So yeah.
Tig, it wouldn't be right if I didn't ask you about what we can expect from you and your artist grip this year. So I have to ask.
No, of course, man. Of course, man. Man, in the studio now recording a few different projects with them right now. So super, super, super excited about those, to get those out. Um, we Grip is doing a tour supporting an artist named Prof starting 420, April 20th, I believe in Milwaukee. But yeah, doing 17 cities over about 24, 25 days. So we'll be in the Midwest and the East Coast. So you know, doing a lot of touring, releasing music, a lot more videos, you know, just kind of staying on top of the content wheel. And you know, a few more surprises up our sleeve, but you know, just staying busy, man, staying consistent, you know.
Hey, I understand, man, and I'm glad you said visuals because I was going to ask about that. But you mentioned partnerships, man. I think you guys work with a beer brand. Are there any other partnerships or things that you all do that you feel like people just need to know about that
Yeah.
are associated with you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So like typically whenever we release a project, we release a beer as well. The beer that goes with the project. It started with Snub Nose. Snub Nose, we released a peanut butter and jelly stout um uh that our really good friend made for us. Joel Franklin. He's one of the head brewers. He was a really great brewer here based in Atlanta. Just started his new journey out in I think Fort Walton or Walton Beach, Florida, or something like that. But yeah, incredible brewer. But we also work with a company called Burial out of Asheville, North Carolina. Burial Beer Company. They make incredible, incredible, incredible beers. So yeah, we do a lot of cannings with them, collaborations, and you know, get stuff out. We also do coffee as well. So we collab with a brand called Dope Coffee that's based here in Atlanta. Based on the east side, they manufacture, distribute everything here, based right here in Atlanta. Great, great, great coffee, great cold press. Um, you know, everything, whole beans, um, everything, you know, so grinded beans, everything. So yeah, those are our main two partnerships that we are locked in with here in the coffee. Mhm.
Man, when this interview ends in a little bit, I'm gonna get you to shoot me those again, though, because I did not know. Because
Yeah.
I've been to Asheville. Asheville got great beer. I ain't gonna
Oh
hold
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Great beer in Asheville for sure, for sure. So yeah, Burial, man, that's the home team up there, you know. Fortunate enough to be, you know, really good friends with those guys, and they help spread our music to so many people. You know, they've definitely become like family up there. So yeah.
Hey, Tig, I just want to thank you, man. We've been on almost an hour, bro, but it's just been an organic conversation, man. Anybody you want to shout out, man?
Man, shout out to you, man.
Oh, love, bro.
Shout out to you for sure. But you know, shout out to you know, Straight Society. It's my boy Grip. It's my brother, my mother. my sister, my other brother, my pops, whole family. That's it though, man. That's it. Shout out to East Side of Atlanta, man.
I was about to say we got to shout the East Side out. You know what I'm
East Side.
saying?
So, yeah, Atlanta in general. But yeah, absolutely, bro. Thank you again.